was about the ending of Severance Season 2, Episode 2, in which we kind of get a bit of filling in the blanks as to what exactly happened at the end of Season 1's finale and the beginning of Season 2. So we pretty much see you at the beginning of the episode that they start right off where we had left off at the finale of Season 1, in which we see Dylan, Herb, Helly, as well as Mark sort of come to the realization what's going on in the Audi world. And one of the things that happens here is that the Innie Mark realizes that the Audi Mark's wife is actually Miss Casey, or otherwise known in the Audi world as Gemma, and says that she's alive. And of course, this was the big cliffhanging finale of Season 1. Now, when we go back to the normal things with Audi Mark, he is sort of thinking to himself, maybe I'm just talking about the niece like that I have and all of that. Of course, his sister's not buying this, and she's kind of a little bit more about probing what exactly is going on in the Severance program and all of that. Of course, Milchick then pays a visit to each and every one of them, and we see that he decides to fire Dylan as well as Irv. We see Helena decides to make a video apology about what exactly happened that night because her Innie Helly had come on to the Lumon stage to talk about how the Innies are being treated horribly down there and that the Severance program is a bad thing. She's on to the video to explain that she had taken some pain medications and also had some alcohol, so this might explain why she had the outburst. Now, we see that Dylan and Herb get fired. Dylan's trying to find a job. Of course, he has a family he's trying to maintain. We see that Herb is still doing his paintings as well at the same time, and they're kind of bummed that they don't have a job. Innie Mark, of course, ends up getting pissed that he has new workers to work with now, not his old team, and this is the reason that they decide to keep Mark, is because he is very crucial and important to Cold Harbor, which is the main thing they want to get done, and he's almost done with it, but they need him there. They don't need Herb, they don't need Dylan or Helly. Helly was more of an Innie there to sort of supervise. That's what Helena wanted to do, but of course now she knows that she can't put Helly back in there. So Innie Mark is pissed about having these new workers. We see it play out in the Audi world where the Audi Mark has no idea what's going on. Now, Audi Mark wanted to quit as well after the whole thing with the overtime contingency, but we see Milchick come and offer him 20% more as well as some other benefits here and there, which his sister's kind of against, but as Audi Mark says, it's my life, I want to do this. You're not the one that had to see Gemma die and all of that and then have to bury her and still live with that in your life, right? And that's the whole thing that's plaguing Audi Mark, is that Gemma has died, so he's trying to just live on with his life that he has right now. Now, a big thing is, of course, that Gemma is Miss Casey. We don't know what exactly is going on there, if Miss Casey is indeed the real life Gemma and she's not actually dead. But a big thing that people are theorizing about Lumon is that they're cloning. They're doing cloning processes here with the genomes and all of that they have to be looking at, and also the goats that we see throughout the season in Season 1 and we're probably going to see in Season 2. Many people theorize that maybe Gemma is one of the first clones, and that one of the big things that Lumon wants to do is to clone Kier later down the road, and maybe Gemma is like the very first one they have that's sort of coming together. Some people also theorize with the file of Cold Harbor that was shown on the computer is that this could be the 25th attempt at cloning Gemma or Miss Casey. So by the end of the episode, we see that Mark gets his team back together. We also see that Helena is seeing the video of Helly and Mark kiss over and over, and this could maybe be a thing where she wants to sort of go into that world and feel that. Maybe she's not used to that. She's used to living in a cold world of Kier's and her family and all of that. So that goes more prominent with the theory that Helena is the one in the severed floor, not Helly, as she does seem a little bit different and she's lying about what she experienced in the outer world, because of course she can't fully come out and say that Helly is a part of the family and is there as sort of a spy of sorts. So that's why we see Helena maybe be the one on the severed floor pretending to be Helly now. So we also see Harmony Caldwell get a new promotion at the Severance project, but she will not be in charge of the Severance floor. That will actually be Milchick, that is now been promoted as well, but she doesn't want this new promotion or anything like that, and says that the company should be scared of her as she leaves. At the end of the episode, we see Mark confront Mrs. Selvig and ask about everything that's going on, which she antagonizes him by saying that why would he even go back to the Severance project. He asks, why did she do all of this? What is going on? And the biggest one was, do you know something about Gemma? Which we see Miss Covell almost answer for a moment before she just screams and she just speeds away, leaving us with such an ambiguous ending by the end. Mark, of course, asked for his old workers to come back and work with him, and the only reason that Lumon did this is because Mark is very crucial to the Cold Harbor file, and he might be the only one that's able to complete it. So they'll do whatever it takes to keep Mark on board. As Helena says, we need him to finish that, so if that means bringing in his old workers, even Helly, let's just do that for him. So they go back and give the offer to Dylan as well as Herb to come back and work at Lumon, and then we see Helena as well go back down as Helly, or so we think, because the biggest theory running around is that Helly is no longer here and it is just Helena who is coming down here to sort of make sure that they get this project done, which is almost done. So what exactly could Cold Harbor be? They're trying to perfect cloning down here, and the best way to do this to keep it top secret, of course, is doing it with severed employees so they don't remember what they're doing down there, and when they go back up there's no talking about what exactly happened here. And I think Gemma is one of those first ones that they are trying to clone. Do I think Gemma is dead? Possibly could be dead or near death. That's why they're trying to clone her in order to bring her back to life and eventually use the same technology to bring Kier into our world, and that might be the whole thing that Kier wanted to do from the first place with the Lumon technology. So that's pretty much what we have at the end of season 2 episode 1. Season 2 episode 2, I will have a theory video about everything else that's been sort of like teased throughout the trailers, the new intro, and also the first 2 episodes. I said it, we're going to be talking more about this show, so if you want to hear more and talk about it, let me know in the comments down below what else we should talk about this show. We still have the theory video about Miss Huang coming out this weekend. Who exactly could Miss Huang be, and how it directly ties to Miss Casey and what Lumon is doing here as well. That video will be coming out on the weekend because I think we definitely are getting really close to finding out exactly what's going on. But I don't think we're going to get the whole answers in this season. I think this season is just going to really open up more about Lumon than we thought before. I did enjoy this episode, how it kind of showcases how the severed are looked upon by the public, because we saw at one point Dylan was going to apply for a new job, got the interview and everything. It was going great. The interviewer was happy, and then he found out that Dylan's actually used to work for Lumon and is severed, and that kind of caused him to be like, you know what, I don't need somebody like you on my team. You can go away, we'll think about it, but I'm not going to give you an offer right now. So we saw that they are kind of seen as other, and we see it with Mark's sister as well, who feels very passionate about finding out what exactly is going on with Mark in the severed floor. Mark, of course, doesn't want to talk about it. He feels very conflicted. He wanted to escape what happened to Gemma, and that's the reason he got severed, as Milchick says as well. So we see that there is a big sort of divide as well. And of course, in season 1, we also had the protesters for Lumon who were against it and even said that they were experimenting on children, which makes us think about what's going on with Miss Huang, who is the new supervisor down there. So a lot of questions that have been answered, a lot more questions that have been asked. So Severance continues to give us that, and we'll talk more about it, so stay tuned. Just want to talk about the episode and what happened and some of the things and the theories that have been floating around. But as always, make sure you subscribe, follow, like, all that good stuff. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll talk about Severance theories. As always, stay safe, stay positive.